if you live to be, you know, late 80s, early 90s, it's considered to be. But then again, you're like, you know, like, do you want those years? That's the question. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be mean, but again, y'all are on my channel, so look, do you want those years though? And I thought to myself, what is shaving off those 40 years that we're supposed to have, right? Why are we capping out at like 80, 83, 88, like when we're supposed to be like 120s, right?
You want me to answer that? Because
I do.
I have.
Yeah, I do. I actually,
So the food we eat,
mm-hmm.
the water we drink, the air we breathe, and all the chemicals we put on our body are toxic to us. So it doesn't kill us right away, but it slowly degrades our bodies so that when you get to your 70s, 80s, 90s, no wonder you're sick. No wonder you're your body's breaking down. The body is miraculous. It fights against all these things that we put in it and on it and we expose ourselves to. And like you said, body just wants to stay healthy. The body wants to be, homeostasis is that balance that we're supposed to be in. And that's what the body tries to do. But we assault it every day. And using we in the general term, I'm certain there's plenty of people who live a more holistic lifestyle. But the average person eats a standard American diet, which is full of chemicals, genetically modified organisms. It has no nutrients. You're basically eating what is called anti-nutrients. So your body's not getting anything. And so even despite what you're doing to it, the body keeps trying to repair itself and trying to get you back on track towards homeostasis. But instead, as generally speaking, we are bombarded by things. Even if you're living a healthy lifestyle, eating well, drinking filtered water, exercising, getting plenty of sun, just going outside with the chemicals that are in the air. Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? They're spraying them all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can go outside and my sky is crisscrossed with stuff. I don't know what they're spraying, but it does have an effect on you. Mm-hmm. For me, I will go out. Sometimes my eyes will water. I'll start sneezing. I'm like, this can't be good for me. Yeah. It's causing reactions. And it may not happen right away. It may happen a few hours when that stuff drifts towards the ground. But ultimately, if we didn't have all these assaults on our body, we would live longer. 120 is not even generous enough. I mean, in the Bible, how many years did Abraham live? Wasn't it like over 600 or something?
Oh yeah, man. Like no, like these guys had some lifespans, and some legitimately long lives, right? And it also takes me back to, the book of Enoch it's this book right over here, right? It's the book of Enoch that I talk about as well. And the other books that we're taking out of the Bible. And I just find it hard to believe. Right. I told you my channel's weird. So Angela, you signed up for this. So I'm going to get weird here for a second. I find it hard to believe that people who were living supposedly on camels in the desert, having to deal with Persians and all this, and basically life could be taken away at any moment. I find it hard to believe they live longer than us. I'm just saying something, but they did, right? So it did. So something like back then, living in those days, seems to me that lived longer than what we had, than what was.
Think about what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were living outside mostly.
Right.
They were eating off of the land that they had. They weren't manufacturing things in a plant like we do now. Yeah. So we're eating foods native to where they were. They had to be physical, using their bodies in order to build things or just to accomplish what their day-to-day things. They didn't have the conveniences that we have. So they were living like we're supposed to live. You're not supposed to sit in the house. You're not supposed to be, on these little boxes that we talk into right now. Yeah. We're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to be doing things that use the physical nature that God gave us. And unfortunately, we have become a nation of weaklings where we want things convenient. We want things now. We can't wait for things. And that to me is so irritating. And Because one of the things I tell my clients right off the bat is you have to rethink convenience. Convenience is not that it's at your fingertips, but it's providing you with what you really need. What you need is not just something now. What you need is something that's beneficial for you. So those people living in that age, they didn't have choices. They could only eat off the land. They could only eat, whatever animals were around, and they could only cook it in a way that, maybe an open fire.
Mhm.
So we have all these things that just destroy food. I mean, cooking food in microwaves, you might as well throw it away. It has no nutrient value whatsoever.
Right.
Microwaves should be banned, first off.
Right.
I don't use one. I don't like them, and they are not good for you. But we think in convenience terms rather than in human terms. We're meant to live longer if we provide our bodies with what it needs.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point too. Excellent. And Enigma, before I get into that though, so Angela, are you familiar with intermittent fasting?
Yes, I actually do time restricted eating myself.
Can you run that down for us? Because I do it too,
Sure.
but I can't really explain it that well. But I do it as well.
Sure. Intermittent fasting means that you spend more time not eating than you do eat.
Mm-hmm.
So most people follow the 16-8 rule, which is 16 hours where you fast, not eating anything, and 8 hours where you put your meal in. Typically, that is a shortened window. So for me, it would be, because I do time restricted, meaning between certain hours of the day. Time restricted eating is just a form of intermittent fasting. So maybe between 11:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. will be my window to eat. And then outside of that, I fast. And it's not difficult. Your body adapts to it. If you're used to eating like every 6 hours, which they told us years ago, which is ridiculous because your body can't keep up with that. No wonder people say, I can't lose weight and I'm eating 6 meals a day. And well, your body's working all the time trying to process food. So stop that. The less you eat, the more efficient it is. But the less you eat has to be high quality, dense, nutrient dense food. So intermittent fasting is just one way of getting your body on track and not adding in all those, basically, like I said before, anti-nutrients or food that has no need to be in your body. So it's not just for losing weight, it's also for maintaining health.
Right.
If you're eating all the time, like I said, your body never goes through the process of resting and digesting. So if you're eating all the way up to bedtime, the reason why you're not sleeping well is because your body's working all night trying to digest that food. So if you do the intermittent fasting and stop eating 3 hours, let's say, before bedtime, and your body can relax and sleep and not worry about churning up that food and processing it through the body.
And another thing too that I've discovered too, Enigmites, is that, if you've been on my channel, I have a nonprofit called Project First Step that deals with mental health. You know that intermittent fasting actually improves your health as well, because when the body is hungry, the first thing it does is start I hate absorbing or breaking down defective brain cells. And and it forces your body to produce newer and healthy brain cells. And I thought that was fascinating. Just another, like I said, the human body is amazing. And what it is that what really got me into fasting is that I read something, I don't know, months ago, probably a year ago by now, that made perfect sense to me, is how, obviously, I focus on men's health, right? Call me biased. I say it, but so I don't read too many women's health magazines, right?
That's your specialty, by the way.
Exactly right. Call me selfish, right? So I was reading this article about men's health, right? And I was in the military, and what it was is I was actually down by I hate to put this out there because this will be used against me by somebody. I was down by the Naval Academy, and I saw the cadets, and I thought to myself, you have to be effing kidding me. I was like, what are they feeding these fatties? That's literally what came to my head, right? What are they feeding these fatties, right? I thought to myself, there is no way. It's all, and when you're in the military, if anybody that's watching this show that's been in the military, combat effectiveness is important, right? And your number one tool or weapon is your body, right? And so there's a reason why we run all those miles and we're at the gym and doing push-ups and sit-ups, right?
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.